It gives you confidence. But we know at any moment, anyone on this team can get going, and that's the beauty of this team is that we're very unselfish in that way. We want to see people get going, and I just got hot, and like I said, playing with Chelsea and everyone else makes it really easy.
Just for both of you, this is now a 5-game win streak for the Aces. How would you describe, I guess, just like the energy and morale in the locker room right now?
It's always better when you're winning, right? It's good. We're just steady and poised in the locker room. Never get like too high and too low. I mean, we had a couple lows this season, and so it just in the uncomfortable situations, you figure out who you are as a team, as your identity, and I think we kind of shown that over the course of these last 5 games.
Yeah, Chelsea, to that point, is there a trust factor now that's permeated through this team that wasn't maybe there in May and June, now that everyone's roles have been more clearly defined?
I think starting off the season, I mean, you build habits to know where a person is. I think we always had a trust factor is like putting the energy and the concentration and the consistency behind it. And that's what you're seeing. And so we've gotten used to each other's habits. What do they like to do on a pick and roll offensively and defensively? And so we know how to kind of play with that and play with each other. So it's a different group and a different look. So that's what I really like is we bought in and we stay consistent in that way.
Hi, Chelsea. This one's for you. So you guys were kind of playing tug of war with who was in the lead, with the points and everything. So when New York made their runs, how did the team keep composure? How did you guys make sure to not let it get too far?
It made sense defensive end. That's where it all started for us. You hold a team like that to 77 points, and they could rally up 100 on any given night. So throughout those runs, we knew like our mindset was to get a couple stops in a row and scores, just one possession at a time. And that's kind of been our mentality when we get behind, just one stop at a time.
Daryl Harris, 8 News Now, Talk That Talk Media. I'll put this one to you all. The rebounding margins tonight, you guys were ahead 39-30. And going into the fourth quarter, it was actually a slight New York advantage on the rebounds. And they've got a lot of size. There's a lot of guards on this team. Helps when Asia gives you 16. But can you guys talk about the commitment on the boards, on defense, the boxing out, and how that feels assisting on the defensive end?
Yeah, I think our rebounds were huge defensively, but we got some possessions there offensively where people were crashing. We were tipping it out to guards, so other guards being able to get that, and that gives us another possession or we get a 3-point attempt. I was really pleased with how, not really me, but the other guards going for the old boards. And John Quell down low, Emma down low. I mean, they're a handful, so boxing out and going to get it is important.
We'll go to a couple on Zoom for players only. We'll start with Nikias. Nikias.
Hey, y'all, just a quick one for Chelsea. As you once again were able to get a lot of stops when matched up with bigger players tonight, generated a lot of deflections. Just what goes into being able to time out those strips the way that you do?
Can't give away all my secrets now, Nikias, but I will say when you're undersized like that, you got to find out what your advantage could be. Whether that's mentally, I watch film to see what their go-to moves are, and then maybe I can jump that or force them into that so I know that it's coming. And then you live with the result, especially when you're playing a prolific scorer like Emma or in the post, their advantage is their height and their size. So being able to be disruptive in that way.
We'll go to Cassie. Wait, sorry, she put her hand down. Andrew on Zoom. Andrew.
Thanks a lot, as always, Caroline. Just want to ask you, Chelsea, dealing with Mismatches, but how she was just so, crafty as she always is, but you made her uncomfortable as a team down the stretch, and then you was able to get the rebounds. Can you talk about that fourth quarter defense and getting some turnovers out of her?
Yeah, I think to start off with, our post players did a good job of trying to make her looks difficult, especially in that second half and more specifically in that fourth quarter. I mean, I had a couple minutes on her. It was key possessions, trying to get deflections and steals and boxing out when I can, making her looks difficult. So I was only on her for a couple minutes. It was our post players that really were disruptive.
Well, we'll finish on Zoom with Jennifer. Last question for players.
Jennifer Porty from Let's Talk Women in Basketball. You guys are now on a 5-game win streak. What specific improvements have you seen recently?
I think it's our communication has been there. I think our as a team and players, our accountability has also been there. I think we're really talking in our huddles and we're watching film. We're doing a lot of things collectively. And we're constantly getting better. We want to get better. And that's the thing. We know we're not done evolving as a team, but I think a lot of it starts with just us communicating and holding each other accountable.
All right, thank you, players.
That was a good way.
Questions in the room for
Excuse me,
Coach.
Asked Chelsea this also, but if you could just describe kind of the importance of this win, given, I guess, the point in the season you are and just the opponent being the defending champions.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of respect for New York. Again, we felt like we needed to take care of our business. That's a team that can easily ring up 100 on you. So we wanted to be about the defense. And just like Joel said, we're still in improvement mode. We still want to get better. And every time we step out on the court, it's an opportunity for us to get better, for us to grow as a group, for us to become more cohesive as a team. I've liked the resiliency. They threw a pretty big punch at us and we were able to withstand it and then make a push back. And that shows some mental toughness that I'm very, I was happy to see that.
Also wanted to ask you to kind of like revisit something that you said about Asia. After that historic rebounding game, you kind of mentioned that you've emphasized more of like offensive rebounding with Asia. And maybe that wasn't a point of emphasis in previous years. I'm wondering kind of like maybe what caused that switch and then how you've seen that be impactful this season, especially like tonight seemed like a huge rebounding game for her.
Well, I've always prioritized transition defense in the past. Then I started doing some analytics, started studying some of the NBA teams and decided, screw the transition defense, let's get more possessions. And so it's been a point of emphasis for our whole team to crash this year, where in years past it really hasn't. It's kind of like it would fall in our hands here and there, but they have been instructed to go this year.
Anyone else in the room before we go to Zoom? All right, we'll go to Cassie on Zoom. Cassie?
Yes, Cassie with Women's Basketball 365. First, Coach, speaking of cohesion, this game felt like a total defensive effort. From your perspective, what was the single biggest factor in pulling off this type of effort and holding the Liberty to the 77?
Just being solid, even in the first quarter, we don't want teams scoring 24 points on us in a quarter. And I felt like a couple miscues, couple miscommunications. They got some easy walk-in layups, You take away that 6 to 8 points in the first quarter. Now we're holding them in the teens, 3 out of 4 quarters. That's a lot of hard work. But again, we started in a scheme that I did not think we were executing or even close to executing. So we got out of it. We went a little bit more traditional, made it cleaner. And I think one thing with this group, the clearer and cleaner the communication, the better they execute. So, sometimes there's there's a best way to guard a certain action, but it's not what you think, it's what they can execute. So you have to make adjustments. And we did, and they executed that, pretty much after that first quarter. You didn't see as many blow-by layups, and we got into a little bit more switching, obviously, which was putting Mismatches down there. But I thought we had smart fouls, and then a couple key turnovers down the stretch as they were trying to, horse it into their bigs. So, but it's everybody being locked in. Everybody has a job to do every moment you're out on the court.
Thank you. And just to follow up, Dana Evans was put into this starting lineup. Can you just talk about how you felt about her performance as the first time in the starting lineup?
Yeah, we just wanted a little bit quickness on Cloud, maybe to just be a little bit more disruptive, use a little more time, have her pick up, be a harassment, full court, and she was able to do that pretty decently. And also, I think, Dana's a player. You definitely have to guard. She's a good shooter. You don't want to leave her open. So just trying to keep defenses honest as much as possible as well.
We'll go to Nikias.
A quick one from me, Coach. As I asked Chelsea a little bit earlier about her ability to guard up and to get deflections against bigger players, is there anyone that she reminds you of on that front?
I think Alex Caruso for Oak City does an amazing job guarding bigs. They put him in a lot of different situations defensively. Just really smart, savvy, uses his hands well. Is that what you're looking for in the guys, like a comp or something?
Yeah, just any comp.
I mean, you could go down the list. Anybody who guards bigger than what they are. But I would say the main thing that she said was she studies film. She knows what moves they want to get into, the movement, which allows her hands to come into play. She's got great hands and anticipation in the post. She's smart down there. I mean, she's smart. I trust her guarding fours. Emma and JJ are a different animal down there for sure. They can put a hurting on you, but we only put her in a couple bad situations. But she did well.
Thank you.
Andrew.
Thanks as always, Coach. Speaking of that very world-class Belgian, with how crafty she is, including throwing a little hip screens here and there that had some interesting moments. How you dealt with her down the stretch in particular, getting the rebounds over her, but also making her a little more uncomfortable on the offensive end and leading the turnovers that you forced.
Yeah, it's just about being disruptive, being scrappy, making them find, when teams, everybody in the arena knows there's a mismatch, right? So we're doing all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, we have a small on a big. Everybody in the arena knows that. My mom knows that at home. Okay, there's a mismatch. But what it does is it stops the whole offense, and now everybody becomes so keyed and isolated on that mismatch that you lose some of your other offensive identities. So, it becomes with, kind of things that you're willing to live with. That's a team that can really hurt you from three. But I thought we did a good job of early activity, being disruptive. And yeah, we got into some situations where, we had some mismatches, but I thought overall, more so in the second half, we handled it well. We looked at some film at halftime. They saw where they were late. They saw where they could get better. And then they went out and executed it in the second half.
Thanks.
We'll end with Jennifer on Zoom before we end in person. Jennifer.
Hi, Coach. Jennifer Porty from Let's Talk Women in Basketball. Jewel had 21 points off the bench. How have you seen her embrace her six-man role this season?
Yeah, I mean, she likes it, I guess. She's been great coming in off the bench. And I think anytime you have the threat of 20 plus coming in off the bench, that's a huge advantage. Not only that, hopefully she's getting a few more opportunities, kind of playing with some of that second unit where maybe she didn't feel like she was getting in a rhythm quick enough. She's very much a rhythm player. When she hits one or two, we want to feed that feed her when she gets going like that. So a lot of times, with that first unit, you're trying to get Jack going, you're trying to get Asia going. There's just maybe more mouths to feed in that first unit. So she's done great coming in off the bench. Obviously, she still plays starter minutes and she's in there at crunch time minutes. But it allows her to get a beat on the game early on, kind of see where her spots were, and kind of fill the game out a little bit more. I don't know. That's probably more of a question for Jewel.
Last question in person.
Coach, you got Phoenix on the road and then a couple at home next week. What's your assessment on the team's overall health? How are you managing that practice versus gameplay balance as we round out this month?
I mean, just monitoring it, communicating with them. There's just very little practice time, honestly. Right now, we're in kind of game mode. When we can get a practice in, we do. But I think you heard the ladies talk up here. They spend a lot of time. They've kind of flipped a switch, I would say, in their preparation as a group before they ever step foot into the gym. You know, they're mentally preparing better. They're seeing it on film. They're studying it individually without me in the room. They're doing it on their own. So that kind of accountability and ownership is really what's been the difference maker, not just getting in the gym and just grinding. It's been their commitment to becoming better as a group.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone.